you know that there were two boys who were born to Isaac and Rebekah. And you know that one of those two boys was a fellow by the name of Esau, who is a hairy, red-headed dude who liked to hunt, right? And you know that the other one was a smooth-skinned mama's boy by the name of Jacob, who liked to dwell in tents and maybe take care of the sheep. And you know that Isaac had a favorite, that was Esau. And you know that Rebekah had a favorite, and that was Jacob. Now, I have a tendency to fault parents who play favorites, but I have to concede that at least Rebekah had a good excuse, because the Lord had told her that the promise was going to come through Jacob, that the older would serve the younger. And so she certainly had a sense of who was supposed to end up on top, and that was Jacob. But the funny thing is, when we interfere and try to help God out with his plan, we have a tendency to make a mess of things. And that's certainly what Rebekah did, because as Isaac is preparing to give the blessing to Esau, Rebekah overhears it and says, oh, no, 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 no. We called Jacob a heel catcher. We called Jacob a deceiver. We called Jacob a swindler. But the truth is, he came by it honest, didn't he? He learned it from his mama. And so, conspiring together, Rebekah and Jacob deceived Isaac, who was mostly blind by that time. And Jacob stole the blessing from his brother Esau. And that's fair to say that Esau had it coming, because he had disdained his birthright and sold it for a bowl of porridge, or stew, if you will. You remember that too, I'm sure, from our readings. So now Esau has come to regret that, because he has lost both the birthright and the blessing. And he decides that he is going to find an opportunity to murder his brother. Wouldn't be the first time that twins had done such, or that brothers at least had done such. Of course, we remember the story of Cain and Abel not so very long ago in our reading. And Esau had it in his mind and in his heart to kill his brother. Rebekah overheard him talking about this, and she conspired yet again to find a good excuse to have him sent away. So she tells Isaac, she's like, hey man, you know those wives of Esau, those Canaanite women that Esau is married to, they are a plague to me. I can't stand my daughters-in-law. There have been in-law problems since the beginning of time, so if you have some, don't think you're the first, right? And she's like, send Jacob back to my brother's house so that he can find a wife out there. And Isaac agrees, and Jacob is sent off. And that's where we're going to pick up our story tonight, is in Genesis chapter 28, verse 10. Jacob is essentially fleeing for his life under the guise of going to find a wife. And in verse 10 we read that Jacob departed from Beersheba and went toward Haran. And he came to a certain place and spent the night there, because the sun had set. And he took one of the stones of the place and put it under his head, and he lay down in that place. Now, you know you're not doing so great when the best thing you can find for a pillow is a rock, right? And it wasn't as though Jacob had planned to stay in this place. This just happened to be where he was when the sun went down, and so this is where he made his camp. And in verse 12 we read that he had a dream, and behold, a ladder was set on the earth with its top reaching to heaven. And behold, the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. And behold, the Lord stood above it and said, I am the Lord, the God of your father Abraham and the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie, I will give it to you and to your descendants. So God is establishing the covenant here with Jacob. He is passing on to Jacob for the first time, very likely in Jacob's life, the first record we have of it in Scripture, the promise that had previously been given to Abraham and subsequently then to Isaac. It's now being given to Jacob. And God says to him in verse 14, your descendants shall also be like the dust of the earth, and you shall spread out to the west and to the east and to the north and to the south, and in you and in your descendants shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Now, of course, we know that this is fulfilled in and through the person of Jesus Christ, who is a descendant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, through the line of David, their descendant. And we know that it is in Jesus Christ that all of the families of the earth have been and will be blessed. And what an incredible blessing that is.